So in every home transaction, you need insurance, but more than that, you need a partner to help you get the job done, to help you find the right policies, the right insurance costs, keep the costs down, but make sure you get the coverages you need. I'm really excited to have Juan Fuentes, who's become a partner with us from Farmers Insurance, and to talk about that. Hey, Juan, how you doing today?
I'm doing well, Bill. Thanks for having me.
Good. Hey, so give me just a quick overview. Where do you practice? Where's your business, and what area do you service?
That's a great question, Bill. So I'm actually licensed to do insurance in the entire state of California, and I can do some home insurance as well in Arizona through one of my partners. I'm in Laverne, California, so along the foothills here in the San Gabriel Valley. So we focus around this area, but we do some stuff up north and throughout the state of California, depending on where my clients or my insureds need help.
So the lines you do typically, I'm sure you have a lot of options you can do, but if I say where the bulk of your business is it homeowners insurance, car insurance? How would you say the bulk of your business if you were to describe it?
I would describe my business pretty evenly split between home and auto. We tend to find when we do the homeowners insurance policy for clients, the natural question is I'd like to bundle it with my auto as well. So when we do that, we end up, bundling it up, giving them a pretty good discount, because when you do that, typically you're going to get a 20% discount across the board on your home and auto when you do bundle it. And of course, there's other discounts available out there. But as far as my book of business goes, it's probably pretty even, but maybe a little bit heavier on the home side than auto.
It seems a good time if you're buying a house, a good time to save money on car insurance, I would think. So why not try at least see what your cost is and put together and see if you could save some money in that as well.
Absolutely.
So you insure homeowners, they buy property. Do you also insure investors? They buy property they're not living in to rent out, or short-term rentals, Airbnb, that kind of stuff? What do you do and what do you not do?
Yeah, we do that as well. Our main focus is probably going to be on the homeowner side of stuff, just because that's typically who we get more calls from. But we do work with a lot of investors who can do one of two things, or one of a few things actually. They can buy the property and then rent it out to long-term renters. We do have an option if they buy it to do like Airbnb stuff. So we do have a short-term option as well. That market is definitely shrinking. There's not a lot of people who do the short-term rentals as much as they used to a few years back. And we also do people who do flips from a vacant standpoint, where they're buying it, going in there for a couple months, doing some work on it, and then flipping it. So we can cover all bases. We can do that on the commercial side as well as on the residential side as well.
Oh, you do vacant home property as well. I didn't know that. Okay, good. That's a
Yep.
good one to know. That almost got tough because there were a couple of different insurance companies that pulled out of that market, and I know there are people having problems. I'm a listing agent primarily dealing with probate properties, so they're often vacant, and that's becomes a problem. So that's good to know. So when obviously you're a professional, you do this all the time. Along the way, you must see people that you see make basic mistakes with their insurance. Maybe they didn't have the right coverage, and as a result, experience a loss. What would you say what are one or two mistakes you see amongst homeowners that they can either save some money or reduce their liability?
One of the biggest mistakes I see when it comes to homeowners, when it's an owner occupied home, I don't see it as much as I used to, a few years back, but I still see it from time to time. Sometimes homeowners will get a dwelling policy, and what a dwelling policy is it only covers the property. It doesn't give you the extra coverages you need, like liability or theft coverages like that. So sometimes in the past, I've seen it where people will get a policy to cover the structure, but not really protect them or their personal item stuff. So I would always, caution people to make sure you're getting a homeowner's policy and not just a dwelling policy, or what's called a DP3 policy. That's one of the biggest mistakes I see. The other one I see when it comes to like the vacant homes or something like that, sometimes again they use the same type of policy, not realizing that there's different coverages for when it's vacant, like vandalism that's not typically included in a homeowner's policy. Trying to think of what else. And just making sure you have the right coverages in place. Sometimes people go into a home and they buy it, and let's just say they pay, $500,000 for a home, $500,000 for a home. Sometimes I've seen people try to insure it for the loan on the house, when in reality, from an insurance standpoint, we're looking at what's it going to cost us as the insurance carrier to rebuild your house. So there are two different numbers there. So what you can sell your house for and what we can rebuild it for are two different numbers. So that's another one of the mistakes I see with homeowners is, they get in a position where they're buying a $500,000 house, but it might only cost, just throw a number out there, 300,000 to rebuild it with, plans, material and labor. And sometimes they over-insure when they don't have to. So those are probably the top three things that I look for when I'm doing some policies for people.
For me, I do a probate case where mom or dad pass away, and it might be 3 to 6 months before they get control of what they're working on. And they'll say, well, no problem. We've been paying mom or dad's insurance all along. Are they covered in that case? Property might be vacant. Mom or dad's deceased. There's nobody living there. They may be checking on the property, but are they covered there, or do they need to change coverages?
In a situation like that, if it goes into probate, I would look at possibly putting it into a vacant policy because again, they have an insurable interest in the home, but if they're not living in the home, then I would probably look at putting it into a vacant policy just to give you those extra coverages, like I mentioned, the
Right.
vandalism and any kind of like break-in, stuff like that.
Right.
However, if they're living in the home, like if they're part of the household and mom and dad passed away, then some carriers look at it and say, you know what, they're there, they have an insurable interest, they have their own personal property there, and it's being
Right.
monitored. You
Right.
could probably stay with what you have, but many times, and correct me if I'm wrong, Bill, but if they have it in the name of a trust and they're living there, then I would keep it in a personal owner occupied type of situation.
Sure, yeah, that's different for sure. So I know you also deal with real estate agents as part of your business. You see some that are successful and some that are struggling. What do you see as the key one or two characteristics of those real estate agents that are really successful and really building their business even in the current market?
Many of the real estate agents that I work with, I think the key that I think that I've seen with the successful ones are the ones that are transparent. I feel that the ones that kind of bring their clients and are transparent with them and educate them versus trying to sell them, I feel that they're the ones that are a lot more successful because you start building that bond with that client, right? You're with them for 3 or 4 months, through the whole process, sometimes even longer. And I think the more you educate them and the more you build a team around you that prides themselves on education, it's going to come across and make that agent look like a superstar and a rock star at the end of the day. Because sometimes people know when they're being sold, and in my opinion, they can tell and they don't like it. So that's what we try to do. We just try to educate our clients, educate our real estate agents, and just be a resource for them. And at the end of the day, let the chips fall where they may. And if we can't insure because of maybe it doesn't fit the ratio or whatever it might be, at least they can walk away knowing and being educated on what they should be looking for.
Very good. So if a homeowner or insurance agent was interested in getting in touch with you to talk about an individual policy or doing business in general, what's the best way to get in touch with you?
Best way to get in touch with me is email. They can email me. If it's something urgent, I always recommend they give me a call. But I prefer that they get me involved as early as possible because with so many things going on with the wildfires going on, the floods and the rain, all that stuff, there are some areas that are becoming very restrictive on who can insure it and what we can insure it with.
Sure.
And some of these carriers do take, a week or two to kind of get back to us with quotes or let us know if they can or can't do it. So the earlier they can get us involved, the better from the restriction standpoint. And also when we take a look at some of these homes, sometimes the real estate agents may not be aware of prior losses on that home. So the more information we can provide to the agent so they can provide it to their client, again, just gives them the ability to show their clients that they're turning over every stone to make sure they give them the best house.
Oh, great. So go ahead and give me an email address. I'll put it into the show notes or into the description.
Sure. My email address is J like John, and then my last name, which is Fuentes. That's F as in Frank, UENT like Tom, ES, the number 1 at farmersagent.com.
And the phone number I have is 909 233-7048. Is that the best number for you?
Yep, that's the office number, 233-7048, 909 area code. And if you need to get a hold of me urgently, I can give you my cell phone number as well. That's 714-271-5826.
Fantastic. Well, I appreciate working with you. I know you come to our monthly Agents Helping Agents. Normally that means real estate agents helping real estate agents, but you're an agent as well, helping us build our business. So we appreciate you. That event, if you're a real estate agent, we do that every month on the first Friday of the month in the morning in Diamond Bar at the Holiday Inn, 9 o'clock to 12, free cup of coffee, maybe a bagel or something. Love to have you join us and come and meet Juan, among other things there. We'll talk about how to build your business, and you can meet other great vendors and partners like Juan and me and Annabelle Pacheco. Juan, thanks so much for your time today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Bill. I appreciate it. And looking forward to seeing you at the next meeting.
Fantastic. Thanks.
All right. Take care.